Don in London, hello. July 3rd, Friday, 2009, time just coming up to 8:15 in the morning. My video is all about recovery from either addiction to substance or behaviour. My addictive substance was alcohol, my behaviour, trying to be the best that either you wanted me to be or I felt I needed to be. And yeah, a barrier really to my own personal growth in the spiritual, emotional and physical sense, I suspect. Because going to extremes of emotional behaviour, going to the extremes of spiritual behaviour, that we think we're something special, when we're in fact all pretty special people, unique and authentic, and physically pushing myself to extremes, either in the job where there was manual work involved, or either in the gym where it was a direct competition with myself, trying to be the best I could. And I realise now it's simply progress a day at a time. That's all we need towards spiritual, emotional and physical well-being. So the extremes of doing nothing or doing everything, somewhere is the grey area of balance maybe. And it's not grey at all, it's multicoloured. So I'm adjusting what I'm saying as I go. So these are actually just as I see it for today. So every day I get a new outlook, a new way of looking at the world, understanding how am I feeling, why, and what can I do. And if I need empathy with people, how are we feeling, why, and what can we do? So we don't live in isolation if we're lucky. We get to be included, a part of things, have enough choices, and have the opportunity to love other people and be loved back. So those are the keys to happiness for me. If I were to measure myself by material reward for what I do these days, it would be, I don't know what it would be. But in the past, it used to be, I can measure myself against the amount of money my labour will actually bring me. And it got very distorted, depending which industry I was working. So I am aware of what has happened in the financial system, where people are being found out to be somewhat less than their bonuses are worth, especially if you're on the receiving end of a tax bill. So anyway, that's enough about that for now. Recovery. What makes my recovery possible is simply being a part of the world, included in family, community, society, listening to professionals who helped me get sober, and then listening intently to fellowship people I know. And the fellowship, Alcoholics Anonymous, and I cannot speak for it. It is a unique and authentic, well, it's not an organisation either, it's just a fellowship or society. And everybody in it is the same size, just one human size. So I need not speak for anyone. I can speak about my experience, strength and hope, and how it works for me every day. And the gift for me is I try and get to a meeting of AA, 1 hour or 1.5 hours here in London, of which there are 720. And at the beginning of every meeting, the AA statement or preamble is shared to help understand what fellowship can and cannot do. So here we go. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. All my videos. Does not wish to engage in any controversy about my videos. Neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And you know, I emphasise always that whilst I talk about AA as the fellowship which keeps me on track, I need to make sure that I keep my outlook, very much my outlook, and how the fellowship has helped me, and not actually tread on the toes of other people who have their own personal opinions and choices to make a day at a time. So there is no cloning in AA except for one thing, how to be sober. And then when we're sober, and when things are going well, we can be happy, and when things are going badly, we can lean on it as well to help us through the difficult times in our lives. And I went to an excellent meeting over at Eaton Square. It's called the After Eights because the speakers there, the people who are in the fellowship for a long period of time, the After Eight refers to after 8 years what it is like and what are the issues in later sobriety. And every time I go, it seems that the issues on day one of sobriety are exactly the same as those over 8 that we have to look for and live our emotional balance. Live it, not think it. Feel it and live it. And that's the difference, and that's where the fellowship works. It gets our senses back of what's it like to be in the day right now, how do I feel about it, and what can I do. So it sounds very simple, doesn't it? But we're very complicated people. Me too. It took me a long time to actually understand that I could not impose my will on the fellowship or on myself. It didn't work because it was an extreme outlook. My own simple personal outlook didn't take account of everything that was going on around me. And when we have our blinkers on that deep, it's very hard to move out of it. And it's quite painful too, because to get into recovery, I did lots of meetings in my first early days. I used to go to 3 meetings a day. I was unemployable and I feared life like I never feared it before, because I was trying to start again. And that is very, very hard to do. So I take my hat off to anybody who walks into a fellowship meeting, sits down and hears their story of experience, strength and hope. Anyway, as Bill sees it today, God-given instincts. And as you probably know if you watch these videos, my understanding of God is truth, God is love, God works through people, or it's good conscience, or I could be an atheist, an agnostic, or a God believer on any one day, depending on my life experience that day. Anyway, God-given instincts. Creation gave us instincts for purpose. Without them we wouldn't be complete human beings. If men and women didn't exert themselves to be secure in their persons, made no effort to harvest food or construct shelter, there would be no survival. If they didn't reproduce, the earth couldn't be populated. If there were no social instinct, there would be no society. Yet these instincts, so necessary for our existence, often far exceed their proper functions. Powerfully, blindly, many times subtly, they drive us, dominate us, and insist upon ruling our lives. We try to shape a sane ideal for our future sex life. We subjected each relation to this test. Was it selfish or not? We asked God, or in good conscience, to mould our ideals and help us live up to them. We remembered always that our sex powers were God-given and therefore good, neither to be used lightly or selfishly, nor to be despised and loathed. And that's again about extremes of behaviour, and it comes from the step 4, which is about our fearless moral inventory to get ourselves on track. And in this book, Daily Reflections, which is one I refer to every day, 1 page per day, as Bill sees it, the other one, you can read it till the cows come home, or you're feeling more sober. It says, July 3rd, experience the best teacher. Being still inexperienced and having just made conscious contact with God, or a higher power, depending on your particular day and how you're feeling in it, it is not probable that we are going to be inspired at all times. In other words, real life can be a real bugger. And that comes from AA's Big Book, page 87, and then goes on to say, some say that experience is the best teacher, but I believe that experience is the only teacher. I have been able to learn of God's love for me only by the experience of my dependence on that love. At first I could not be sure of his direction in my life, but now I see that if I am to be bold enough to ask for his guidance, I must act as if he has provided it. I frequently ask God to help me remember that he has a path for me. And, my key in there is good conscience. My path is one of good conscience. I don't know what's going to happen from day to day. But I went to an after-8 meeting last night. It's probably one of the best meetings I've attended. The chair given was by somebody who I've heard before, and they covered another element of how sobriety works for them, and they have a passion, and their understanding of spiritual was simply like mine, the truth of now, and what better way to look at it. So, what else? So there's so much yesterday, and newcomers, old-timers, people in the middle like me, just trying to make one day work. And the gift is a life plan, 1 day long. Gone are the coping strategies, if you like. My favourite was alcohol, but these days, no. Anyway, the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, just for today.